Sebastian Rivera, Building 1.
Monique Stewart, Building 2. Grace Kyle, Building 2.
Shoya Saber, Building 3.
Mike Mooney, Building 4.
Kelly Tanner, Building 5.
I have Ramsey start by giving us an update and specifically the issues that we've been talking about and addressing, and then if we have questions or they have questions, then we'll
Okay. At this point in time, I'm going to pass the microphone to the engineer. The inspector is inspecting the work. His name is Ramses, and I'm from Swayze Engineering.
Hi, good evening. Right now we're still working in Building 2. We are making our way around the building on the east side, on the east elevation. We are close to completing balcony repairs on stacks 9 through 12, and we've begun on Unit 522 and 422. We've also begun repairs on the shear walls to fix windowsills, and we're making our way on the north side. I think that within a few weeks we'll be ready, granted that we have provided some parking spaces back to attack building number 3.
I'm in Building 2, Unit 419. I'm in construction. Some of the patches I see questionable as far as repairs. You got clearance issues on rebar, rust and spalls, you have issues there. Are you on budget right now in Building 2? Are we on budget? Are we exceeding the budget?
Total cost per unit to break down a balcony?
It depends on the amount of work that we do, and it depends on the amount of repairs that we find.
What's an average?
An average to do an extensive repair, which we're not doing on all of them, but to do an extensive repair anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
Right. Is there any in the frame yard?
Yes, sir.
I understand it's white instead of the aluminum. Why couldn't they paint all the units white and rescreen them instead of having a mishmash of white and aluminum? I just think it's going to be awkward to have some of these frames white and the rest of the aluminum color.
Okay, well, that's one thing we went through at one of our construction meetings, and the lead time and the cost on matching the anodized aluminum as you have, which was the current technology when this building, when these buildings were built, would be more expensive and more time consuming. What was more readily available and closest to what you do have is the white sections that we do have.
It's just going to make the property values go down if everything looks like a patchwork job. I think that everything ought to be unified. And if you're going to do that, then you ought to paint the existing frames white and then we rescreen them. A lot of those screens need to be replaced anyway. And I don't think it's going to be that expensive to go in there and repaint the existing frames and rescreen them to keep our property value up.
We all agreed, yes sir, you was here that day, and we all agreed that we were going to go white. I even have a sign off on it.
Can I see it?
We're already almost finished with Building 2. What is the estimated cost so far? I mean, you guys already know a majority of all the work that has been done and what's going to be done because you've been in our building. So what's the cost right now?
At this point in time, I'm not able to tell you. I can tell you how much it already has cost to our last billing. But as we see, we only get paid for work done. As we're in progress, we don't get paid. Once the work is complete,
yeah, but you do an invoice. I mean, if you're doing work, you have to invoice it as you're doing it before you give it to the board. You're gonna do an invoice as your workers are going on. So you've done an invoice. You know before you give it to the board. You know what you've done.
Right.
What is that total?
I mean, like I said, I can give you the total for the work already performed. But the question you're asking me, if I'm not mistaken, is how much is Building 2 going to be?
No, I'm not asking that. I'm saying right now, as of the work you've done now, to this date, even if you haven't invoiced it to the board, where are we at right now?
Okay, I'm not prepared to answer that because I wasn't expecting that question, but I can get back with you with that answer. That's not a problem. That's really simple. You know, just go back to the invoice and check.
Okay, well, how long would that
We can have that information as long as the board requests it. I mean, They already have it, you guys already have it.
What's happened throughout the years, if you would have done this job 10 years ago, you would have probably done a $250,000 job. You wouldn't be sitting here doing a $2-point-something million job. The original contract amount was for $1,863,550. What we have, this was as of January 27, 2009, that original contract amount was increased with net of change orders, whether it was an increase in quantity or an increase in unforeseen conditions, which was $73,782.93, which brings the net amount of the total contract as of that date, which was January 27, 2009, to $1,937,332.93, of which the total completed and stored to date was $475,781.70. That amount, I believe, includes also a deposit for the painting of all buildings already.
Correct.
So it doesn't mean that that was all allocated to building 2. That means that that was building 2. That included the clubhouse area, all of the work that we've been doing, plus a deposit on the paint for all of the buildings, of which there is a 13% of the completed work already being held in retainage, which is for $51,569.22. So the total completed, less retainage, which means the total that you have paid us to date is $424,212.48. Okay?
What's the retainage percentage? 10%?
No, 13.
Completion date, we're trying to wrap that up, beginning of April.
And
If everything,
the paint and everything.
everything, sir.
Elevators have expired certificates, it's not unusual to our property. But we finally had all of our elevators inspected. We have to bring our elevators up to the present building code, which recently changed. And the estimate that we were given was anywhere between $500,000 and $800,000 for the 10 elevators to be brought up to code. Building 3 specifically is having elections for their buildings. There was a problem with the initial mail out, so it had to be redone. Unfortunately, there's now a problem with the second mail out, so it's going to have to be redone again. Unfortunately, it's been done wrong now twice. It's cost us at least $1,000, if not more, because our toner is $400 a cartridge. We've gone through 2. But for the first mail out, somebody's resume was not included, which should have been included, and that's why the first one had to be redone. What's wrong with the second one is as follows. 1, there was supposed to be a cover letter attached explaining clearly to unit owners that there was a problem with the first mail out. They were to disregard that information ballots that they received, only use the information in the second mail out, and that was not done or attached. There was also a problem in that our association requires a voting certificate. There were no instructions on how to complete the voting certificate. Okay, motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion.
Whoa, new business, old business?
Yeah.
We're done.